7. Signs that predict how long you'll live. After 70, scientifically proven. Have you ever woken up in the morning and wondered, how many good years do I have left? I know I have. At 78, this question isn't theoretical anymore, it's very real. 3 years ago, I watched my best friend James fade away just months after his 75th birthday. We'd made so many plans together, a fishing trip to Montana, weekly poker nights, watching our great-grandchildren grow up. None of that happened for him. Meanwhile, my brother-in-law Richard just celebrated his 91st birthday by going zip-lining with his grandkids. 91. And he still drives himself to volunteer at the VA hospital twice a week. What's the difference? That question kept me up at night. Why do some of us thrive into our 90s while others struggle soon after 70? As a retired doctor who spent 42 years in family practice, I couldn't stop wondering. So I did what I've always done when something bothers me. I started researching. I talked to my former colleagues, read every study I could understand, and observed my friends carefully. If you find this helpful, please click that subscribe button and the little bell. I'm new to this YouTube thing. My grandson Kevin set it up for me, but I want to share what I've learned with as many of you as possible. Every subscriber feels like a new friend to me. Now let me share the 7 signs that predict how long we'll live after 70. I wish someone had told me this 20 years ago, especially number 4, which changed everything for me. 1. Walking speed. How you walk tells a story. Remember how we used to tease Uncle Bill about his turtle pace? We shouldn't have. He passed just 6 months after I noticed he couldn't keep up with us at the hardware store. Here's what I've learned. How fast you walk says more about how long you'll live than almost anything else. My doctor friend Thomas puts it simply. Bob, I can tell more about a patient's health by watching them walk down the hallway than from most lab tests. I didn't believe it until I read a huge study that followed over 34,000 people our age. They found walking speed predicted who would live longer, better than blood pressure, heart problems, or even cancer history. Last year at our veterans reunion, I noticed my buddy Charlie taking tiny, hesitant steps. He was using a walker by Christmas. Your walk shows how well everything's working together. Your heart, lungs, muscles, even your brain. What I do about it. Every morning, I time how long it takes me to walk from my front door to the corner mailbox, about 100 yards. I write it down in a little notebook. When my time slipped by 20 seconds last winter, I mentioned it to my doctor. Turns out my medication needed adjusting. Now I'm back to my normal pace. Don't just accept slowing down as getting old. My friend Henry started using walking poles and doing leg strengthening exercises at 83, and he regained almost all his speed within 3 months. 2. Grip strength. Your hands don't lie. You know who lived to 96 in our family? Grandpa Joe, who could open any jar in the kitchen until he was 93.
That wasn't just a quirk, it was a sign.
One day at my doctor's office, they had me squeeze this little measuring device. Strong as someone 20 years younger, the nurse said. That's when Dr. Miller explained that grip strength tells us about all the muscles in our body, not just our hands. Last month, I couldn't open my pill bottle. It scared me. Not because of the pills, but because I remembered what happened to my friend George after his grip weakened. Within a year, he couldn't lift his grandchildren or even carry his groceries.
Scientists have actually found that grip strength predicts heart problems better than high blood pressure,
And people with stronger grips have sharper minds longer. If you're still watching and finding this valuable, type "I do" in the comments below, so I know these old stories of mine are helping you. It would warm my heart to see your responses. What I do about it: I squeeze a rubber ball while watching the ball game, 2 innings with my right hand, 2 with my left. I also started opening jars with my non-dominant hand as a challenge. My son laughs at my hand gym, but it's working. I can open pickle jars again. 3. Balance. Standing strong means living. Long last week at our senior center exercise class, my friend Walter could still stand on 1 foot while tying his shoes. He's 87. Meanwhile, poor David, who's only 72, needs to sit down to put on his jacket. When my wife Margaret was still alive, we had this little competition every morning. Who could stand on 1 foot longer while brushing teeth? Silly, right? But our doctor later told me those balance games probably added years to our lives. You see, balance isn't just about avoiding falls, though heaven knows those can be disasters at our age. Good balance means your brain, nerves, and muscles are all communicating beautifully. Researchers found that folks our age who can stand on 1 foot for 10 seconds have half the risk of dying in the next 7 years compared to those who can't. When I read that, I started practicing that very day. What I do about it: every morning while waiting for my coffee to brew, I practice standing on 1 foot next to the counter so I can grab it if needed. I aim for 20 seconds on each foot. On good days, I try it with my eyes closed for a few seconds. That's much harder. I also joined a Tai Chi class at the senior center. John there is 91 and has balance like a tightrope walker. He's my inspiration. 4. Sleep quality. The nighttime miracle. Here's the one that changed everything for me, and most doctors don't even ask about it. For years, I was so proud of needing only 5 hours of sleep. I'd brag about it at the barber shop. Sleep is a waste of precious time, I'd say. Meanwhile, my brother Alan religiously got his 8 hours and seemed to age backwards. Now I know better. During deep sleep, our brains actually wash away the toxins that cause Alzheimer's. Our bodies repair damaged cells. Our hormones reset. Without good sleep, we're aging and fast forward. 4 years ago, I started waking up at 2 a.m. every night, unable to fall back asleep. That's just old age, everyone said. Then my daughter, the nurse practitioner, suggested a sleep study. Turns out I had sleep apnea. I was barely breathing hundreds of times each night. No wonder I was tired and foggy all day. A Berkeley study found that poor sleep after 70 increases your risk of dying by 27%, more than high cholesterol or blood pressure. What I do about it? I treat my bedroom like a sleep sanctuary now. No TV in there anymore. I miss my late-night sports, but I don't miss the exhaustion. I keep it cool and dark. My doctor prescribed a small dose of melatonin, which helps. And treating that sleep apnea? It was like getting 10 years of my life back. I wake up refreshed for the first time in decades. If you're finding this information helpful, please hit that like button. My grandson says it helps more people our age find these videos.
And goodness knows we need each other's wisdom.
5. Appetite and eating habits. Still enjoying food? When James stopped coming to our weekly breakfast club saying, "I'm just not hungry anymore," I should have recognized the warning sign. 3 months later, he was in the hospital. Loss of appetite isn't just about enjoying food less. It's often our body's first signal that something's wrong. Researchers found decreased food intake can precede serious health problems by up to 2 years. At our age, we need more protein than younger folks, not less. Without it, we lose muscle frighteningly fast. My friend Tom lost 15 pounds after his wife died. "I'm just trimming down," he said proudly. But it wasn't fat he was losing, it was muscle. Within months, he couldn't get out of his recliner without help. What I do about it? I weigh myself on the 1st of every month. Unplanned weight loss gets reported to my doctor immediately. I make sure to eat protein at every meal, eggs at breakfast, tuna sandwich at lunch, chicken or beans at dinner. And I never eat alone if I can help it. Tuesday is dinner with my son's family, Thursday is breakfast with my veterans group, and Sunday the men from my building have a cookout together. Food tastes better with company, and I eat more when conversation is flowing. 6. Handling stress. The calm ones last longer. My friend Edward lost his house in a fire at age 73. Terrible tragedy. But within a week he said, "Well, I always wanted to downsize anyway." He just turned 92 and still volunteers at the community workshop. Meanwhile, my neighbor Harold would fume for days if someone took his parking spot. His blood pressure would shoot up, his face would get red, and he'd tell the story to anyone who'd listen. Harold had his first stroke at 74. Scientists have found that chronic stress literally shortens the protective caps on our DNA, making our cells age faster. A Yale study discovered that how we think about aging can add or subtract up to 7.5 years from our lives. What I do about it? Every morning, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for in a little notebook. When something upsets me, I ask myself, will this matter in a month? Usually the answer is no. I learned meditation from a free class at the VA. Just 10 minutes of quiet breathing resets my stress levels completely. And I've gotten better at saying no to activities that drain me, even when people pressure me. At our age, we've earned the right to protect our peace. 7. Social connections. Friends keep you young. My neighbor Frank rarely left his apartment after his wife died. "Too much trouble," he'd say when I invited him to events. Within a year, his memory was fading. By the next year, his daughter moved him to assisted living. Meanwhile, my friend William hosts a chess club every Thursday, volunteers at the local high school woodshop program, and plays in a senior softball league. At 89, he's sharper than people 20 years younger. Would you believe researchers found that having strong friendships increases our survival as much as quitting smoking? It's true. Studies show isolated seniors experience cognitive decline at twice the rate of those with active social lives. What I do about it? I make sure to have at least one meaningful conversation every day. Not just hello and how are you, but real talking. I volunteer at the Veterans Hospital on Mondays, which gets me out of the house even when I don't feel like it. When my arthritis acts up and I can't go out easily, I schedule phone calls with friends. Even chatting with the young man at the hardware store counts. I always ask about his family and really listen to the answer. Putting it all together,
Small steps, big results. When I look back at the friends I've lost too soon and those still thriving in their 90s, these 7 signs tell the story. None of us can control everything, of course. My Margaret did everything right and still got cancer at 72. Life isn't always fair. But what gives me hope is that about 75% of how we age after 70 is within our control. Genetics only accounts for about a quarter of the differences. I'm not perfect with all 7 areas. My grip strength could be better, and sometimes stress still gets the better of me. But knowing what matters has helped me make better choices every day. Small things add up. Walking to the mailbox instead of asking my son to bring the mail. Doing chair exercises with a YouTube video, not this channel, though I'm thinking about making one. Calling my old army buddy when I feel lonely instead of just watching another TV show. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel. At 78, I never thought I'd be a YouTuber, but sharing what I've learned brings me joy. Leave a comment about which of these 7 signs surprised you or which one you're going to work on. I read every comment. Sometimes it takes me a while to figure out how to respond, but I'm learning. Remember, we're not just trying to add more years to our lives, we're adding more life to our years. And isn't that what really matters? Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next week, this is Doc Bob reminding you that our best years might still be ahead of us.